Look at the fog that's in here today. We've had something like 3 or 4 days now fogged in. But if you're wondering what's above that fog, check this little bit out. So that's cool, right? It's absolutely beautiful up above it. Here comes Luke. What's he got to say? What have you got to say? Do you have a complaint? Well, this is the complaints department, so carry on. Oh. All right, well, just play nice. I don't know what he's doing. Actually, I have no idea why he's come up to me. I don't have any carrots. He probably thinks I have some type of food. So, once in a while, when we get a jump in subscribers or people coming to say hello, what's happening, Mr. Itchy? You got an itch in just a particular spot? Where'd you go? Is it right here? Somewhere around there. But I get passing through. I get a question on how did I get to where I am? Where did I learn from? How do I know as much as I know about horses? Hello, Lena. You have a little bit of eye goop. Come here. Stop it. Why don't you let me just there? Okay, better. Lena knows she's in trouble. Hello, little fluff. Goodness gracious. Everybody talks about, if you haven't seen the little cartoon Zootopia, it's a movie, so it's kind of a cartoon, it's an animation obviously, and there's this one part in there where it's this sheep is the assistant mayor. Don't ask me why I'm so detailed in this movie, but she's got this huge fluff of a hair and this fox is like, I can't help it, I've got to touch it. I can't remember exactly what he says. It's just so fluffy, and it really is. I mean, if you haven't experienced this lovely mop of goodness, oh my god. Yoko, you're the best. Should we mat it back down a little? There you go. I don't even know if that looks better. Forget it. Put it back up. Okay, and so I thought I would answer that while hanging around with the horses, because staring at me monologuing has got to be boring. Look at these boys play. So here's my story, and kind of where I've learned horse stuff, or right or wrong, whatever I've learned. But the first question that always comes in is how long you've been into horses. And when I was little, just a young lad, she was thinking of coming over. Just a young lad, probably 10 or something. My mom sent me to a camp. Well, you know, like every parent sends their kids to summer camp, and off I went to this camp. Here they come. You guys are getting close. Oh, you missed. Go get them. Don't bug me. Go get them. Go on. Go get them. And off I went to this camp to do all kinds of stuff. It's fun, right? You go there for a week and you goof off. And one of those things was horseback riding. And we did a couple of rides, and on one of those rides, hello Lena, what do you need? Shoulder? I can do shoulder. And one of those rides, I went on this really big horse, must have been a good 16 hands, and I was just a little thing because I didn't really grow until grade 8 or 9. I was like 4'8" or something stupid. It was just silly. I was so tiny for so long, and then it just sprouted. But anyways, I was just this little thing, but they chucked me on what I thought was probably look at these guys, eh? Like a 16 hands horse. And I couldn't reach the stirrups. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't steer it, couldn't make it go, couldn't make it stop, and off we went alone, which is absurd. But anyways, this horse didn't care at all about me, and Lena's still here bugging me. So the boys were interesting. Lena, do I have to scratch you? She says yes. There's Roni. And this horse just kind of rode off, and I got kind of worried and scared, and took me to this tree. It's like an old grizzled pine tree. It was scratchy and it hurt, and I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't jump off. I was too high. I felt I was too high. And it's from that point forward that I hated horses. I really did. Hey man, did you win? Hard to tell. Sometimes you guys look like you come out about even. What do you need? You look like you need... I'd rarely scratch you, to be honest. Look, hey, check this out. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. It'll work up here, maybe. Can't really draw. Well, hey, listen up, boys. I'm here. And so from that point forward, I didn't want anything to do with horses. And I can't draw on him. Sometimes we can draw on the horses. Or sail. Anyhow. Years and years and years and years passed. I never... Oh boy, I had somebody come into the comment section and said, don't stand behind horses, it's so dangerous, you should never... And I thought, well, I appreciate the concern. I really do. There you go. Scratches for Luke, everybody. Scratches for Luke. Where these two go, though. So all the way up until about 10 years ago. Oh geez, here comes it. They're going upwards. Up and up. Oh, good boy. And kick up. Foot punch. These two are amazing. I was watching them earlier, and Luke had his front legs weaved in between his back legs behind him, trying to nibble on him. It was crazy. It's kind of like when you get in a fight with somebody with a bat or something like that. You want to get as close as possible to reduce. Same thing with a kick. If you're going to get kicked, be as close as you can. If you're going to get kicked, if not, get away, obviously. Look at Roni stopping him cold. Do you see how he stopped cold? That was interesting. So about 10 years ago. So now we come up more towards the present, and we get to about 10 years ago. And I had moved out this way, and there's a lot of horses here in Maple Ridge. I mean, a lot. Not very many Icelandics, but there's one more now. Hello, little Fluff. What do you need? She loves a good scratchings as well. She's all for getting a solid groomings. Just a good little horsey. And with all the horses around, I thought, you know what? I should maybe get past that fear of hanging around with horses. And I've done a video on fear. And it's real, you know. You can it's a thing, being afraid of horses. They're big, they're fast, they're pretty dangerous, and if you can't predict what they're going to do, you can get hurt. So I really wanted to get past that myself. So I thought, well, I'll take some lessons. And I went to I found this place locally, not in business anymore, But the property got bought up by a school next door, actually. Hello, little miss. We haven't said hello to you this morning, have we? Don't worry about her too much. She doesn't usually push you much. Okay. And I took some lessons. And my first lesson was pretty scary. I didn't know how to do anything. In fact, I knew nothing. I really just didn't know nothing. I went in there totally blank slate. And I've got quite a few horsey friends now, and they've been in the horse business for years, since they were kids, and their kids were kids, and their parents were kids, sorry, and the whole family's been in it for years and all that kind of stuff. And it's interesting. Old cultures die hard. Hence why I think in a lot of cases, if people come, I've never been around horses, should I? Yes. Coming in with a blank slate is fantastic. It has done me very well. So, whatever that's worth. And so, after a lesson or two or three or four, I thought, well, maybe I'll take a few more, and I'll up my lessons per week. I went to 2. I really started to get along with it, and we went out on a trail ride, and I loved that. I just loved it. It was so much fun. It was nice to be out in the wild riding a horse. How about that idea? And so pretty soon I started to think, I wonder if I should just have my own horse, because it's hard to create a relationship with a lesson horse, and even if you do, it's still somebody else's horse, and you can't just go and visit anytime you want. You gotta book a lesson. So I ended up buying a horse, which you guys have seen, and I'll link below in the video of that footage that I had found of my very first horsey. And she was an older thoroughbred. I don't think we ever accurately aged her, but she had to be 20 or so, something like that. Why? There's nothing on there. There's like the slightest amount of water. You guys have water in the corner. They have water. There's not a water barrel. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Get out of here with that camera. Weird. So she was wrecked, unfortunately, and being pretty new and following a lot of the old cultures, because the teacher at the time, while a great teacher, had a lot of old cultures in her herself that she hadn't thought through or wondered about, perhaps. And so actually it was an interesting journey hanging around with her, because we did talk about a lot of stuff that goes on in the horse world, and why and how, and her thinking started to shift as she had to sort of tell me, this is why people use spurs, this is why people use really hard bits, this is why we use a crop, this is why they're shod, shoes on horses, so on and so forth. What the? You guys look a little bit cute today, just hanging around quiet together. Your one eyeball is just, it's really quite adorable. I'm glad I gave it a quick clean. Roni. He looks cautious, you know what I mean? Oh, I see. I see. Oh. It's silent communication. Lena's got to go too, she says. I'm out. Let's push that guy around. And off they go. But not far, because we're a herd. So, that poor horse sort of kicked me along on my journey in trying to understand horse health. Horse behaviors is something I was just kind of fascinated with anyways, but I didn't really kind of come out of that shell until probably a year or two after that even. And I started to really think through, like, what on earth are they thinking and why? So anyways, the thoroughbred Willow was my teacher for hoof stuff. I quickly learned all about as much as I could, took classes, read books, practice to take care of her feet, because the farrier that was taking care of them was doing an absolutely horrible job of it, and she couldn't justify anything. When you ask a question like, why does this happen? Well, it's just the way it is. if anybody ever says that's just the way it is, make sure your alarm bells go off. You're so adorable when you do that. Yes, you are. You're the cutest. Who's the cutest monkey today? Give your eyeballs a quick clean too. You and Lena. I'll take care of all my kids. And yes, I'm gonna leave her forelock just like that. No, I don't want to pet you anymore. You want me to fix your forelock, you say? All right. That I can do for you. There you go. Ever so pretty again. So, to no avail. This horse, with x-rays taken, it was obvious. There wasn't much. I mean, with the knowledge I had, I couldn't, and the location that I was at, I didn't have this place. I just couldn't do everything that she needed, unfortunately, and we lost her. Within that time, I bought Luke. So I had a second horse, because the first one wasn't rideable. She was very busy being rehabbed, which she got to a decent place, but then something happened and everything went south. But we had Luke here, and he was just a little baby, like three years old. So I got to start him, and to be honest, he was the first horse I ever started that I felt was from scratch. Right, buddy? And we'll be together till one of us dies. He'll be around forever. Yeah. And so that was great learning. And it's at that point that I really kind of just took off on my own. And I started to study. Oh, how adorable. I started to study a lot more, read books. And my first sort of class or course, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it. It was a clinic, and I just, oh, she says, don't you switch sides. She's back on the other side, little man. He says, well, I'm out then. I wanted to do the other side. I go push the gray one around. She says, if you try it, I'll kick you in the knee. Look at her. I'm gonna back up because Yoka's coming. I just want to make a little space so we can watch this for a second. Let's see what happens. Huh. Oh, there you go. It's back to the boys playing. She is incredibly playful. Actually, I can't wait to do a video where I show you how sometimes we'll play together a bit. It's hard to get because I don't really have any idea where to put the camera, because we travel around the whole arena. But anyhow. So where was I? I was Luke, right? So first horse. And I really started to think about, well, how do I do this? I don't know the methods, and I'm having a hard time with the concepts. So I went to my first clinic, and that was Buck Brenneman. And I had I'd seen his documentary that this lady put together, and it was part of a set called the seven clinics. Anyway, this is a DVD set about this lady that she wanted to make. She liked him so much when she went to his thing. Wow, that is impressive. She just made this huge set. I'd have to say I'd cautiously recommend buying it if you're interested in picking up some stuff. It's old. I don't believe that Buck's methods have changed since those, so if you want to catch up on his methods, you'd probably be able to do all right. I mean, he's already had his skin in the game for what, 40 years or so before that. So, and he said himself he doesn't really pick up anything new very much. So anyway, so I watched that religiously. I just over and over went to his clinics, and I tried to learn, and some things made sense and some didn't. I practice. And then of course Tom Dorrance and Ray Hunt, sort of, he brags about them all the time, so you check them out and you're like, okay, I see what they're doing, I see what they're saying. And wowzers. Lena, would you just tell them off? Say, stop it. Here she comes. Roni, you better watch it, buddy. I'm over here. Oh God, here comes the butt. These two are really interesting. He'd like to switch sides. Watch him try. Oh, he did it. He says, I'm taller than you, no problem there, Fluff. She's like, well, all right then. Huh. I can hear somebody right behind me. Yep. So, but after a while, I stopped watching them because while I had picked up some stuff, some stuff just didn't quite click with me. Some just wasn't all there. But I did a lot of stuff with that, and it took me a long ways. And then within that time, I bought this place which was all forest. Everything you're looking at right now was all overbrush forest kind of mess. And so I bought this place, a bit of a diamond in the rough, and thought I could make a go at it. And then we got Lena. No, got Roni first, then Lena. Lena was free. I had a friend say, well, do you want her? I was like, I don't know. Do I need another horse around this joint? I've got two. And but she was free, and she was pretty good looking, and she's a real nice horse, and so we said yes. And then not long after that, I got Gracie, who was also free because her owner passed away, and she's a real challenge. But by then I had really figured out hoof trimming, and I had figured out some good, decent horse training. And some of that, a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, I think, I went to Colorado because just a little bit before that, a lady had brought me a Mustang, and this Mustang was super trouble. There's a whole playlist of that if you're interested in watching that. And that was a real challenge, and it really got me interested in understanding and truly understanding horse behaviors. And I was initially fascinated somewhere near the beginning, about 5 years ago. So about 5 years ago is when I kind of came out of my shell of classical horse training, classical methods brought down over the years, and so on and so forth. I started to think a little bit more critically. I started to really question everything. Holy. Look, Luke's got to sort that out. He's like, don't kick like that. It's dangerous. Oh, here comes Yoka. And I had this one horse named Benny. He was a standardbred. He was here for quite a bit. I was really quite lucky to have him. My first horse here for training, which, as I say, is like 5 years ago. And I watched him like a hawk, trying to understand how on earth he moved all my horses around so accurately. Can you please stop digging up my arena? You're going to get it, man. Both you guys. You're in trouble. Off they go. And these girls are really cool. They're best friends. What if you guys come back to the same spot for? So almost, buddy. Just a nice another 5 feet and you would have got him. So Benny was amazing. He could move a horse with an ear from 100 feet away. He was so accurate. It's crazy. I could only pray to be able to get, what the, why are you so close to me? You know, one day Luke's gonna kick you right in the bum. And you know, it was a big deal, because I finally started to sort of say, you know, I think I'm just going to learn from the horses themselves more. I mean, there's nothing wrong with listening to people and looking up information or wondering what other people do, because we can also try to think of, well, why did it work, and is there a better method, and why didn't something work? Did somebody do something that got a result, but was it the full result that we want? Like treat training. It's not what I want to do. It's not the relationship I want with my horses. Some people do it and it works. And I really became aware of this. So back to that Mustang that was here. And gosh, these guys are fun, eh? Look out, Roni. Get him. Bite him. Oh, Lena. Lena says, no way, Jose. This is getting a little tight here. What? Why? And so back to that Mustang. I had 2 months with her, and I did my very best to get her halter trained. She was really sideways. She was scared of everything and anything. And I kind of got somewhere, but I still felt like I could do better. Still felt like, but it was definitely a huge growth period in my life, where I really had to pay attention to what horses were saying, and watching and understanding eyes, ears, body, lips, tail, feet, legs, twitching, position, balance, things like momentum. Where are they going and how fast are they going? All these kinds of things that would kind of clue me into what's going to happen next. Hello. Coming through, you two. Don't get behind a horse, okay, everybody? It's very dangerous. It's dangerous if they don't like you. You know, that's another topic for another day, though. And from there, I really had to think. I was thinking, like, what is it? What is it that was really good? You know, the Mustang left here, and I got so much out of it. It was very enriching, incredibly enriching for me. So I went to Colorado. I think it was about a year or so later. I was like, you know, I should search up some Mustang. Because actually, at the time when I was training her, I searched up Mustang training, and I found a few people. One was, I'm sure everybody's heard of her, Sam Van Fleet. She trains a lot of Mustangs. Young girl, quite good at it. And then Sean Davies over in Colorado Rainsman, what he goes by on YouTube. And I went down there. I spent a whole weekend. I spent 4 days glued to his side. Just questions. And I put up a few videos about those. If you're interested in those, you can check them out, obviously. And we worked with a couple of his Mustangs. Now, he didn't have any fresh ones, which I was hoping for, but he said he just wasn't able to get any. I'm following the boys around. Coming through, excuse me. And it was fascinating. And I learned a lot. And I think that's where I really sort of cemented in the idea, like, you can do something with a horse and it might work, you know, but it might not be the result that you actually want. And he would say that about some of the things that I did, and I really started questioning the things I did. I made a massive change to my groundwork methodology from that point. It's not his and it's not somebody else's. It's sort of a modified version of both. But Sean really taught me a lot. And I'm inching forward, and if you look here, I've got what are you doing? What do you want? What, you big monkey? What are you doing? Don't let your horses do this. It's incredibly dangerous. You see how she tried to nibble on me there? Just don't do it. Trust me. Now, I knew she was going to do that, and I haven't. Oh, that was a good one. Roni, get him. They didn't hit, but it was close. See how fast that is? That is fast. That's why you don't go behind a horse. Right? No going behind horses. So from there I came back, and I spent a month redoing everything and trying to redoing everything, and I'd fall back into old habits. And you know, even to this day, once in a while I kind of fall back to the first few years of methodologies drilled into my head by people who say they really know what they're doing, but have lacked growth for years and years. Critically thinking through what you're learning, what you're picking up, even here, I encourage, I support. I think it's a great idea to always be wondering, is that what I want? Is that the relationship I want with my horse? Is that, I might get a result, you know, as Sean said, you might get a result, but it isn't the result that I want. And it took me a little while to understand that, for sure. And that kind of leads us up to today. you know, another couple of years pass and you just keep on growing with that, get more horses in and start to work with the wildies, because that's, I knew after that Mustang came here, and after I went to Sean and learned all about what he was up to, I knew I wanted to work with more wild and feral horses than I did domestic ones. Not that I don't work with domestic ones, domesticated, whatever. But I mean, this is a joy to be around. Look at Lena. It's just, she's wonderful. But you know what you really, or at least I found my growth, my learning curve was so much better trying to understand a horse that is more horsey, less humany, more horsey. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes sense. And so that's what I'm doing. That's how I got where I got. The last few years, for sure, I haven't learned from a single human. Sean is probably my last teacher that I've had. I pay attention to stuff here and there, but mostly I now learn from these guys. Hello, friend. Would you like to chew on my hand? He says, I'd love to chew on your hand. Can I chew on it today? No. Well, you cannot. And they're just the most amazing creatures ever. You know, you can get so much out of hanging around with them, learning, watching, observing, seeing what they do, why they do it. You get to hypothesize on that. And then, along with all of that, is this amazing YouTube channel that has allowed me to really start to think through some of the things I do. Some people ask great questions. Some people offer advice. Some good, some not good. But I get to critically think through it. And that in itself, as a group, we get to learn. Right, Roni? Hey, buddy. So, if you're wondering why, if anybody's wondering why Gracie's not in here, it's because she ran off on me when I let her go and was a real pain. So I put her back for now, and now I've done this little monologue. I'll bring her in, but I have to put her back and just say I have to. This is one thing that I've learned about being with horses, is you have to have patience. And I was running low, and I just thought, I'm just going to deal with this in a bit. Right, Roni? Sometimes we just have to take a pause on ones that get a little bit lost. Anyway, so that's why she's not in here. I'm sure somebody's been thinking about asking that up until now. It didn't occur to me. So my goal for the future is to work with more of these guys. These are two wildies from BC. Hard to get Mustangs up here, but we've got our own version of that. These feral horses that come off of a range that have had minimal human contact, maybe none, maybe some, but minimal, no training, and help them understand the world that they're now part of. Because if they're not part of this world here in Canada, they just get put down. You know? Thanks, Yoko, for not pushing her my way. I really appreciate that. It was really kind of you. She says, well, you owe me a scratch or two. Okay. See, she's missing a little hair here. Somebody went to town on her with their teeth and gave her a solid scratchings. She was asking for it, most likely. And that's it. So if anybody's wondering, I know it's been really, really long, but at least you've been able to watch the horses while I yammer on as they mill around and argue and come up for scratches and play. Look at this guy here, so cute, Rody. My quarter horse. What is this guy doing? What are you doing? You chewing on a stick? How did a stick get in here? And then, because we don't really want them, I mean, look at this guy's been amazing. Everybody loves this guy. Can you imagine if you had to go to the cannery, right? So time will tell how many I can save and bring in to educate and introduce to our human world, make them a little smarter and more pliable, something that other humans can be around. And during that time I will be continuing to grow and learn and watch and understand. Stop. Thank you. Teach. Right, Yoka? Gosh, you're such a cutie pie. It's crazy. So that's it. That's my whole story for now. And horses are pretty quiet now, so I guess... Oh, what? He's gonna keep on going. Okay, good. Ooh. See what Yoka's doing here? Watch. She has stopped herself right here. Why is it so itchy right here? You got a problem here or something? Don't know. So we'll give her a scratchings. Should I listen to a horse? Yes, sometimes. Not you though. You're too stinky. So good looking though, isn't he? Nice boy. Happy I got him. I'm looking forward to the future here. Looking forward to everybody being part of it. Thank you for being part of it. So many of you. Fantastic support. Great questions, great comments, lots of encouragement, lots of happiness, lots of happy people. It's a great community to be a part of. I'm really happy that we're all here together. And that's my whole story. Roundabouts. Any other questions? If I missed anything, let me know. But overall, I think I've covered everything. There's lots you can learn from many people out there. I'm definitely not saying I don't want to learn from others, but I've chosen a path for now that just has me learning from the horses. Once in a while I'll pick up stuff here and there. I do like a lot of things that come out of the old timers where they've discussed how to be kinder and quieter and all that kind of stuff. I do enjoy that a lot. When you think about it, try it out. So what I'd say to anybody who wants to get into horses, you never started, or you did and you're scared and you're not sure what to do anymore and stuff, gosh, just spend time with them, really. Learn and watch, critically think through the why, the how. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Always ask questions. Always question till you're sure, confident. Weirdos. Look at these two weirdos. Anyhow, that's it for... Oh, something in the back. No, I don't think so. I've got company. So that's it. We're going to leave it at that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I should probably do a short version of this, shouldn't I? I really should do like a sit in a chair monologue thing where I get it out in 5 minutes. You know, 40 minutes to get out a story. Good grief. They're looking at something, you know. Sure is still foggy though. Well, I'll leave you guys with a little time lapse at the end because it's absolutely beautiful to watch. And I'll see you guys in the next one. She says, your beard's too long. Let me trim it for you. What's with that? I would never do that to a horse. If I did do that to a horse, what would be the purpose? Why do you do that? Okay. Bye for now, everybody. See you. Oh, see you in the next one. Here she comes. You can't run away from her, can you? You gotta pet her. Yes, you gotta pet her.